Are we live? Hey, everybody. Hello. Cheers to you. Good evening from the warm Ozone Studios this evening. Are we here? Are we live? Good to see you. Julie is here. It looks like Ma is here. And so good to see you guys. We are here. I'm Karen. Fine art ventures of the ozone variety, like it says right behind me. I think it's backwards though. And what we're going to be doing tonight is some faceting on the faceting machine, our Facetron. Let's see, I'm going to try not to stand in my own shadow. And so we've got a very fiery fire opal that we've been working on. It's a trillion for some of those of you that absolutely love your trillions out there. That's what we're going to be doing. And Scott Argyle is here in the house. Good to see you. Steinkerns, to you and yours. What's in your tsunami? We're having one outside actually right now. I mean, it's not quite a tsunami, I guess. It is one humdinger of a storm though. And so we're supposed to get some pretty high mileage winds this evening. I thought we'd get some faceting done before we lose power, if that's what's going to happen. They say our headlands are going to be getting some pretty good beating this evening. And hey, Sonia, good to see you too. And it is a nice surprise. It's a great surprise to be hanging out with you guys. I have to do some cutting. I'm a cutting machine right now, getting my cutting and polishing on. And I thought, why not just take all y'all with me? And so here we are. Ryan's in the house. Good to see you too. And I'm trying to think of who I saw before I got logged in. It looked like there was a clutch of you guys waiting around as well. Amber is here. Good to see you with the big pink wave going on there. I love pink colored waves. We've got like just nasty big surf out there right now too. We've got what's called the king tide going on. And so there is a high tide. That's the king tide. It's a big swing, a very low tide and a very high tide all at once. And with a storm, with the storm surge and the 50 plus mile per hour winds that we're supposed to be getting tonight, we're supposed to really be getting a battering of a storm. And that's going to bring the waves all the way up to the headwalls on most of my local beaches. And guess what that means? Guess what it means? It makes me so happy. We're going to be having some washouts probably happening pretty soon. The king tides are responsible for wiping some of the sand from the summer off of our beaches and bringing us those beautiful gravels that mean that, yeah, Scott says it's agates. We're going to get our agates on, guys. Can't wait. All right, and welcome in, Dale. I don't think so. I'll bet you already have a mom. But yeah, beach rock hounding is about to start. We are definitely having a good season opening storm right now. King tides with the storm. Wow, new rocks exposed. Exactly. And then also, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Mam Lambo videos of late, but he's over there in New Zealand, but we have very similar situations as far as our fossil hounding goes. And he was just hanging out, watching, this cliff come down and start to let some of its sealed secrets out of the cliff sides. And so not only do we have gravels exposed from below, from the reef underneath the sand during the the summer sands that get blown in and carried in by current, well, they get raked off the beach, but also it will cause some of the beach erosion, which, in some ways that's a negative, but in this way, it's definitely a positive. We get to see the things that were hanging out in the cliff sides come out. So some nice concretions. Big, huge cliffs have heaved ho before, and I've seen ribs sticking out of huge boulders, bigger than me. Mid through the rock, just a set of ribs. And so it's pretty exciting to kind of be boots on the ground and see that stuff happen first person. And I'll be taking you guys along, so at the very least, you guys can experience it that way. And Jennifer is in the house. Good to see you. And we did have a tornado. Did I see that in the chat? We had a tornado north of me between Rockaway Beach and Manzanita. There was a tornado on the coast. And so they said that we're going to have some similar weather tonight. So who knows? We're going to batten down the hatches and we're going to get to some faceting. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get that rolling. Whoa. Yeah, without an earthquake. All right. And so I've got some of the spoils that we've been working on so far. We're going to be doing some, whoa. Sorry about the shakes and the rattles and the rolls here. Here's our fast draw and fastening machine, and here are some of the gems that we've been working on so far. You guys, I'm sorry, just getting the camera straight. It doesn't want to go. So over here is the great pumpkin that we were doing on Halloween. And then that is the giant tangerine. Hey, Mama's in the house watching and imaging. I bet it's imagining the wild weather. Yeah, it's intense. And so this guy, we were thinking about how large the great pumpkin was when we were doing that guy, and this tangerine, our tangerine dream, turned out to be a whole half carat larger. So we've got 2 carats here and we've got 2.5 carats there. And so I couldn't be more excited. It turned out a perfect cut, and it's got clarity that is absolutely off the Richter. Wonderful. And it's in Arya Akivan's Ruination cut to continue our fun romp through the comparison series. And so to kind of show you the difference between colors, this one's deeper red. So kind of in that like dark orange before you get to red. And then here's that tonality. They're both really clear stones, though. I mean, I don't want to say luck that we got lucky, but we kind of did. And so it's always fun to see that transpire. Our project for tonight is this guy here. And so this is a trillion cut called the Triopic Blast. And we haven't done the table yet. We still have to finish the table, but our cuts for the crown are pretty complete. And so we're going to continue on this one, and that is as yellow as it looks. And so this is, just that blasty yellow. I'll show you the lemon yellow one that we did before. That one's also in the Ruination cut. This was so much bigger, and then we found it to have a large fracture, so it had to get cut down. And that's life in the gem cutting world. And those of you who also were, so this yellow guy, along that thought process, I'm going to try not to jump around too much, but my brain. This guy actually should be that yellow. And then if you guys were watching, we had a live stream with Julie and Melissa, who are here in the chat, along with Rufotris and Jahik and some others. And Rufotris, Jahik, I'm trying to, oh yeah, and Allison. And we were all working on some very cool projects. I was working on a super fun little tourmaline cut, a rectangle cut that had presented that it also had a fracture problem. And so I was a little bit hesitant to go on. And so I kind of took a moment of pause to see if it was going to be worth my while to keep on going. And it wasn't. And so I took it off of the DOP. That's how far it made it. Sad, sad, sad. That's the sick, sad reality. But there is, in that boxy part right there, that would have been the crown, there is a really nice fracture going like along the same way. And so, I'm sorry, that's the pavilion there on the bottom. And the boxy part would have been the crown, but I don't think I can get it to where you can see, maybe like on the left-hand side, you can see the beginning of the fracture. It's like it makes a little shadow and a bright spot. And so at any rate, that was a complete fail. What we also have on DOPS tonight, and I don't think that we're going to get to this one tonight, but this is another lemon yellow one. I was cutting down to get to the shape. So I was cutting the girdle on this piece. This one has some dendrites in it. So I was cutting a dendrite tester. This is going to be a very small guy. You can see where the crown is starting. And so all of that extra material is going to get cut off. And there's going to be a tree just in one portion of that tiny little round there. And the reason why I'm cutting it down so much is, again, there was a fracture that caused it to need to be smaller than anybody would want. But we're going to see what that little tree does in the faceted stone. So that's going to be exciting to see when it happens. And I'm going to get caught up on the chat, you guys. I'm sorry. Let's see. I want to change my my tablet around. And so Amber loves that cut. Thank you. And they're gorgeous. The sunstones, or rather, I'm sorry, these faceted opals really are stunners. And just going to set those up for you guys to look at one more time. There we go. And going to grab something that I forgot here and answer any questions that you guys might have. Hey, Jahik, good to see you. Wonder if I'll ever get Karen's box done. Well, like I said, the longer that you wait, the more likely there's more in it, right? And so, you're not hurting my feelings by dragging your heels a little bit. So, all right. We are going to thank you, all of you, for showing up this evening. I just wanted to take a moment. I know that there's folks out there that don't join in the chat, but I'd like to welcome you in today too, and thank you for hanging out. You're welcome to ask any questions in the chat. Don't be shy as we go through the faceting. And if you'd like to try it, or there's something that you don't understand about what's going on, please feel free to ask. And so I'm going to bring this guy. Oh, we got it. I'm so efficient. And then this is the Ruination cut, and I'm throwing a bunch of shadows here. We're going to change our plan over to the Triopic Blast by Andrew Brown. And I'm going to have to actually rip that again because it's starting to fade away. Like this, there's all sorts of, dripped beverage and stuff like that on my diagram here because I have used this cut a lot. Those of you who know, know. I think Muzz got one of these bad boys. I think some others are out there in rings and some jewelry pieces that some of you have purchased in the past. And again, I really thank you guys for your support. And each one of these cuts definitely makes a difference as to what about the stone you either highlight, what light is allowed in, all the things that you want to have happen. If there's going to be extra color play, it's important to have that right. Okay, so we are going to cut the table. And what I mean by have that right is, what is a good cut for opal? What is a good cut for tourmaline? What is a good cut for sapphire? And then I forgot, I got us all set up and we have to put the guy on the 90-degree little armature here, and I'm going to take this off. I was doing the girdle of that other stone before. But yeah, there are certain cuts that are very good for some stones and very bad for other stones. And that will bring out the highlights or deepen a color so that you can't even see it anymore, like a deep green tourmaline or a really dark garnet. You don't want to do a deep juicy cut on, or else you're not going to be able to see the color. Whereas with some of the stones, you want to enhance all the color that you possibly can. So we are definitely working on color enhancing cuts for these opals. And it looks like Bob's Rocks is in the house. Good to see you. Select item, just keep falling into box. Right? I like that vote. And Diane is here. Good to see you, Lady Diane. Smooches, I hope that you're feeling better. So from here, we've got the right angle. I just need to adjust the height so that it's the right height for this particular stone. And then I'm going to move it on here so that that makes sense. And this is one of those cuts where you really sneak up on it. And what I mean by that is if you mess up the table, you can't put the stone back. You can't put more material back onto the table, so you go pretty slow. So we're going to pay attention to what we're doing, says Karen to herself. And we're going to bring this up. I'm going to get that rolling. Like I said, if there's anything at all that you guys have a question about, sometimes if you put stuff that you really want me to see in all capital letters, it does help me to read it. Let me know if the levels are 5 by 5 as far as can you hear me and is the music too loud or is that a good level? Just moving some stuff around so that we don't have shadows so much. Let's see. Juicy cuts are the best, I have to agree. Loves them juicy cuts. And then, we have juicy stones where you don't want to You don't want to have just like something that's kind of dead and black looking, where it could have been, it coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda been something a little more exciting. All right. One of these days, it would be really neat to figure out a way so that you could see what I'm looking at each time that I look through the loop. Because you'll notice I will do the Scratch Master Flash here, and then I will bring it up, and this is how slow I'm going. That I literally just take a few drags off of the lap and then see what the cutting status is, so that basically what I'm looking at is there's a triangle table on this guy, and I'll show you that really quick. Here's the triangle table that we're cutting right now, and what ends up happening is if you have any weirdness with the way that your machine is set up or the stone is sitting onto the lap, you'll notice that like as you're cutting this triangle, that maybe it's getting closer to that side before it gets to these sides, or that there's something amiss, like the geometry might not be just right. And so I might have to just use a little bit of a cheating mechanism on my machine so that everything gets to be meet point, which means that all the points meet visually. And sometimes, even though you have a machine and you're doing something really mathy, that the machine doesn't understand this is a natural object and it might cut in a different way, like some parts might be softer than other parts and that sort of thing. So the human in it helps to make sure that you cajole the math, that perfect geometry out of this natural object, and kind of work with it. And so that's kind of an unexpected thing. You would think that like, okay, well, it should take exactly 20 strokes across that, metal diamond disc to achieve what you need to achieve based on the math, and that's not how it works in the natural world, which is part of why I really love this. This is an area where a machine cannot necessarily do better than a person. And so, yeah, if you guys, like I said, if you have any questions at all, or if you are working alongside in your warm, toasty studio, I would love to hear what it is that you're working on. While I cut this table down, and it'll give us an opportunity to see what it looked like sort of before and after, since I did show you what this stone was cooking up to be in before. Make sure that I'm caught up in the chat. I hope that all of your weather is a whole bunch better than our weather. But like I said, I can't lament it too much if it means that we're going to be doing some rock hounding soon. So I have to help my machine cut a little bit harder to the left, because it seems like the triangle is going to the right now. So, as I suggested, it's very interesting that, perfection and exactitude just don't seem to be a part of the formula always, where you would think that something, just simply cut a bunch of geometry, right? And everything should work out perfectly. And it's actually an interesting, like, kind of constant troubleshooting. And I love that about it. It keeps it very much alive. If it was so mechanical that it would be easy for just a machine to accomplish, and it takes all of the creativity and human touch out of it, it wouldn't be something I'd want to do. Can you guys even hear the music in the background, or is that too late? I'm wondering if that's working out for when I'm concentrating and not putting a bunch of words together. If it's nice to have a little bit of that in the background, or if it's too late. Sometimes I know that I'll hear music on a live and it's just out of range enough that it's not helping. So you guys can let me know. Yeah, so we're almost done with this this table. And thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate all of the thumbs up over there already. That's fantastic. I like that there's this many of y'all hanging out on a Tuesday night with an impromptu pop-up all of a sudden, dramatically placed faceting session for this sunny gem. All right, I think that our table is pretty much done with our, I don't think I covered what disc we were on. I might bring it down just a little bit more. Yeah. This here is a 1200 metal topper disc, and you're going to see what that portends here in a second when we take it off. And I'm not sure if my chat is frozen or if y'all just aren't that chattative, which is fine. I'm just hoping I'm not missing stuff. Maybe I should refresh that. Are we here? We are live. Excellent. And yet, looks like my chats are frozen. Hopefully we're all still here. Oh, faint music. Okay, you know what? My chat was frozen, you guys. I'm gonna have to catch up here. I just refreshed everything. You know, one of my devices is on the Wi-Fi, and I have a feeling, and that's the one that I'm seeing my chat on, and I'm pretty much sure that our storm is probably doing a little bit of, wouldn't want it louder. Okay, good. Thank you so much. I shall not have it be any louder. It's just fine. Agreed. Perfect. I'm cooking dinner. Music is background. It's all good. Fantastic. Doing rounds of heating. And, you know, Julie, it was so much fun seeing you work on the kombu. I have only been in my studio doing it with my mom and seen only a few other people do it on videos, and I will be darned if everybody has their own way of doing it. Like, it seems like there's so many different ways. I was taught on a um, on a hot plate, like on a cooking stove. And so the fact that you were using your torch was like a whole nother thing for me. And so I think what I'm going to do is, you have inspired me to try something new. I'm going to try it your way. And so that was an absolute blast to be able to hang out. I was if anything, I was a bit occupied with what you were doing when I probably should have been paying closer attention to what I was doing. But it was so much fun watching you do your kombu that, that's the only drawback of doing the rock club together, is that I would have loved to have been just watching you do your thing. So, for at least us artists that are all working at the same time, it's worth going back and reviewing the footage. What a great little rock club meeting that was. And so, let's see, catching up some more. You may need to get more heat. Indeed. Self-taught. There are so many ways. Yeah. And my mom pretty much taught me, and it was just one way. And she was the one that went and got the education. So there's our table. And I don't know if you recall back when we were doing the intro, but the table was quite a bit smaller. And so I love this cut for how much into the stone you get to go. And so for Schiller stones like the sunstones, it's really nice. And guess what? This is going to be a super cool window for when we start playing with the dendrite opals. Because I think that if I can frame an opal into the triangle, rather a dendrite, a tree, into the triangle, it will be nice to gaze upon that. It'll be neat. We were talking about emerald cut before, with how nicely that would frame a dendrite tree inside one of the fire opals. And it occurs to me that my favorite cut, I think this is my favorite cut of all time, is also a good one. And so if you're wondering what I'm talking about, is here's one of the cabochons that I've cut that has the dendrite trees in them. And each one of these actually up here in the corner has some dendrite in it. And so they're stunning, and they're like, the closer you get, the more tree-like they are. And so they're not only nice big trees on the macrocosm, but even when you get teeny weeny ones that would fit into a little gem like this, they keep their incredible detail all the way down to a very small crystalline structure. And so they're really sweet. So we're going to stick this guy back into the quill like normal. And we're going to change our cutting surface. And I'm going to make sure that I'm caught up. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Wow, it's neat. I was going to say something about the lighting, and I'm looking at the lighting through the camera. And it's so much more bright in here than it seems. It seems shadowy in the camera. And it looks like we have Cindy in the house. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. And yeah, the Amber, the opal material, I knew that it was going to be fun. I had worked with a very small amount of it before we went mining. But then when we got this material, this is when I went head over heels in love. It's amazing. It's amazing to work with. And so, hey, Rufotris, he was the belle of the ball. He was the one that threw our party for the last rock club. Thank you so much for hosting that, sir. And just lurking, mostly sound off, happened to turn it on for a moment. Well, you know what? We were talking about you a bit before. What a great time our rock party was, and looking forward to seeing that again happen soon. You know, that was magnificent. And Julie hosted one too, and that was a blast. And so I'm just glad that everybody's getting together and having these work sessions. Oh, I thought I was gonna show you what the topper looks like. Let me take this off. And so there's a topper for you. It's literally, it goes on your master lap and it goes on top. Now I can put something else on the master lap. It's got a little bit of rust on it. Bad show, bad show. And therein you can take care of all of your, at least the metal disc needs, and even you'll see the CD writing on this bad boy a little bit later, so it makes a lot of sense. Those of you wondering what one of these guys looks like before it gets cut down, here's a piece of the fire opal that has the dendrites that I was talking about. You get it wet. And those of you who have watched some of the lives that we're talking about where we get together and work together, you've seen me cut this down to try to chase after the actual gemstone rough in the material. And so this is what it looks like when it comes out of the ground. And then I have to cut it down and find the gems inside. So opportunities for dendrites, opportunities for faceted stones. This one's not terribly clear, so it would make better cabochons actually. But plenty of dendrites in there. So that's what it looks like when it's, you know, before you get into it. And it is quite a chore to cut the material down to make gems out of it for sure. I'm looking forward to this one. Chonk. Ha. But alas, that would be for another session. Yeah, it's been hard to not do some serious, like, stop and gem gaze while I do my cuts. When they get cut down, let's see, they, I thought I had the drawer handy. I don't want to belabor you guys too much. Oh, maybe I already cut that stuff down. Yeah, I already cut it. So once you get your rough cut down, then you start making making the lumps of material. Here's some lumps. Ready to go. We got some squares. So either these are going to turn out to be squares or turn out to be trillions. This guy on the right hand side, you can see clear through the material to the dot. This guy here, my right, it's on top. Look at how clear that material is. We haven't even started cutting yet. That's going to make a grade A faceted opal, because that kind of clarity is definitely what we're looking for. Like, there's very little to stop light going through there. This one's neat because of the, you know, there's some dendrite inclusions, and it's got a really nice red tone for its fire. This one too, you can see the red tone as I'm moving it around. Fire. So either trillion cuts for these guys, or possibly practicing the square cuts to also frame dendrites is where these guys are headed. So that's what's on the DOPS. That's the breaking news for that, and we are moving to, oh shoot, I actually should have just done the table. We're going to do the table before we move anything around. I'll get this back on. Trying not to be distracted, but it's fun playing with the rocks with you guys too, so that you can see the different levels of progress. Yeah, those are going to be some really lovely ones, and the stones that come out of those two lumps should be, you know, like a couple carats like these guys. They'll just be some different shapes. And I'm gonna dop one up to do another tourmaline cut, or I might just cut to the chase and do a tourmaline in the tourmaline cut. I mean, why not, right? And so, like I said, I got a little ahead of myself. We need to go back to the 90 degree, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the table right now because it's already, my machine is already set the way that it wanted to be to cut the table on the 1200. Now we're going to a 3000 with the diamond lipstick. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. And set the height of the mast here. There we go, that should be about right. And we've got our diamond lipstick. Let's see, is that in frame? Not really. It's like chapstick for your plates. And I think that we've got enough diamond charge on our bat lap right now, which is the kind of lap that we're looking at right now is actually a tin alloy, and it's made exactly for this. Now this is going to be a little squeaky, guys. I forget how noisy making the crown can be. Is that ridiculous? Hopefully that's not too bad for you guys. It's a little sharp sounding. Sorry. And this is actually where we use a bunch of alcohol too. And I don't mean the Steinkern kind. I do mean either your 70%. I know Ma likes this best. I sent a husband out to get some alcohol for me, and he bought this kind. I usually use the 91%, but this is absolutely fine. And so what I'm doing when I use the alcohol is I'm actually, when I pick it up, there's something called swarf around the outside, and the swarf is some of the what the material that's coming off of the stone. Oh, I'm out of the picture. The stuff that's coming off of this stone, like if those of you who grind stone, you see the white milky swarf or whatever, it's mixing with the diamond chapstick, and we have kind of like a grayish black line around the outside. This needs to be removed as you go along, or else you run the risk of it scratching the surface that you're trying to polish. And I'm looking at the surface that I'm trying to polish, seeing if we're getting where we need to go with it. And once again, I apologize for the squeaks. You guys know that if you you put two hard things that are flat together, it's gonna do a squeaky number. It won't do that the whole time. It's just the table because there's so much real estate on it. When we go to the smaller facets, where we'll be in the clear from having to hear fingernails grating down a chalkboard. Oh, that's a great question. Lady Diane just asked, no water? And in some cases, some people use the diamond paste with water. I don't. And on this particular lap, it's not needed. And so for me, I would rather work dry whenever possible. And this is one of those times. There's a threat for heat, but there is not a real threat for, airborne particulates, inhalables. And so this is a clean and easy way and a very fast way to get this done. You think about it when you have two flat surfaces that, I'm sorry, when you have two flat surfaces that are trying to cross like that, and you have water, there's the possibility for hydroplaning, and you don't get a polish. And so in order for this to be the most amount of friction and be the most efficient way for me to get the cutting done, this is like still kind of the cutting process, not quite our pre-polish or our polish. It's still kind of cutting the stone to a small degree. We're cutting all of those scratches from the 12K out, or the 1200 rather. And so I want that to happen faster than slow, and a nice, you can always add more oil if you need a little bit more lubrication, but in this case we didn't, and our table is finished, looking super good, and we're ready to go on to the next step. Great question. That sounds like my ankles feel most days. Oh my gosh, if that isn't like poetry, I feel some empathy with you now. Like that was a good illustration on that feeling. And let's see, I'm the person who can actually drag my fingernails down the chalkboard. Okay, Amber. And it looks like Rockin' Willers, Joseph, and Rosie are here enjoying meds, busy day at the dentist. Oh no, I'm sorry. Been resting, enjoy shorts, and saw you're live. Well, I'm glad that you were able to come by. I hope that you're feeling better from your dental work. And I have empathy for that too. Hopefully your teeth don't feel like Ryan's ankles. And hopefully we all feel better. Hope that dental work isn't too much prolonged yuck for you. And so our next cut is going to be around the sides for this trillion. And we're going to go to 52. I get to go to the dentist on Friday. Woo! And have some excitement myself. Nice long sit in the chair, and I'll be enjoying some meds too. Oh my gosh, that's when I do my Friday Night Live, huh guys? You guys might see something weird. Someone get the oil can for Tin Man over here. Hey, Rocky. Yeah, that was one squeaky man. And everybody's saying hi to the bear. Cedar and Stone Creations is here. Very nice to see you. Hydroplaning is real. Cutting cabs got once easier for me when I quit running my lap at like 85, 90 all the time. What a wonderful bit of wisdom that you're sharing with the group. Yeah, sometimes, a lot of times faster isn't better. And so slowing it down so that you don't have a hydroplane is a really good thing. Sometimes, figuring out if you can do it without oil instead of water sometimes. Different kinds of abrasion. And Stan asks oil. House full of questions. I love it. Yeah, okay. And so I'm going to show you two things here really quick, and then we'll move on. This is a thing. So this is Crystal Lube, and if the chapstick that I put on my bat lap was too much viscosity, it was too chapsticky, then I can always add some, it looks like I'm, trying to sell you something. You can either add some of any kind of like an extender for this, it's very pure oil. And this is actually the diamonds in the oil already. This is actually my 50K, and it's got the oil already added to what they would call a slurry. So this is diamond slurry with oil. Yay! Or you can do it this way. And so, it's a matter of how does it feel? And sometimes you don't know, does it feel right? As a beginner, you don't know. And then you start understanding what different materials want different things. They will talk to you. You just have to have your ears open to listen. And diamond tooth. Yes, I would love to be getting a diamond tooth on Friday. Julie, alas, I am getting another crown, so I have, I'm going to be, I'm a queen so many times over, I don't even want to talk about it. But hey, worse things could happen. I'm going to have chewers, things to chew with. I'll buy things to chew with. So we are on 14. And lower that bad boy down just right. And get it ready to take a spin. It was sounding just a tiny bit on the dry side when we're getting those squeaks, and so I'm going to add a little bit more of the chapstick actually. And I only load it so much, and then it's time to clean the whole thing with alcohol and start over again. And that's one of the reasons why I really like the Bat Lab, is that especially if you start seeing any kind of contamination, you clean it and you get to start over again. Gotta love it. Bees and honey equal money. Yeah. Chewing does come in handy sometimes. I would admit that, Amber. For sure. Okay, so we are on, I'm going to double check that we're doing all the things that need to happen right now, lest I get carried away just having too much fun with you guys. So we are cutting, let me show you on the diagram. We are now cutting these guys, these little triangles. Yeah. Actually, you know what? We should cut these ones first. Let's cut these ones first. That way we'll keep the stone balanced. We'll frame the table first. See? I'm thinking on my toes, sort of. That's the way I'd usually do it. And that's probably the way I should now. Okay. Thanks, guys, for helping me keep my brain about me. Speaking of chewing, I'm trying to work and chew gum and talk at the same time, or some walking and chewing gum, or however that adage goes. Don't attempt this at home. Very dangerous. Multitasking while trying to facet. All right, here we go. See, that when we do our group lives, this is all of the stuff going through my head that you don't get to hear. Okay. And we want to make sure we're on this right setting. So when we're here, we're going 16. That's why that didn't look right. 14, 16. There we go. Now we're all right. Oh my gosh, you're closing on your farm on Friday? Goodness gracious. Ah, that happened fast. So fast. All right, wrong one. $5.62. There we go. Let's do that. That's not what I want. Now we're 16. Wait a minute. That was right. Okay. Yeah, selling the farms. More sad than happy. Yeah. Well, you know, you never know what's around the next bend, and hopefully it's going to be a great thing. You know, it might surprise you at how awesome it ends up being. Hopefully that is the case. Free you up to go do more of the stuff that you'd like to do, more enjoying. Yes, hugs from all of us in the community for sure. Oh, I agree that those inspirations come in groups and waves, Cindy. That's so awesome that you know, for everybody who's just listening and maybe not looking at the chat, Cindy was talking about working on a couple of rings last night, then had an idea for earrings, so I started that. Then I had another idea for a bracelet, ADHD perhaps. I don't know. I think that's just inspiration flowing. You know, and it's always, gosh, it's always so fantastic when that happens. I see what's going on. If you have your cheater on, make sure that you set it all the way back to normal before you start cutting new faces. Just an FYI. Just an FYI, everybody. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you do. That is still looking lopsided. What's going on with that? Hard to finish all the half projects, right? You know, I just consider it lucky that I'm having such a great flood of inspiration whenever it does happen that I figure, yeah. I'll get to all the little half-finished bibs at some point. But boy, you know, it's so much easier to do finished work on something that has been started in an inspirational fit and flow of creativity than trying to come up with an idea when you got nothing. I got nothing to give, you know? I don't know. Let me know if you agree with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure that we're on. That. Yes. That one's just really weird. Huh. Hey, James. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Oh, Bob's Rocks has about 20 or 50 creative ideas right now. That's pretty exciting. And Amber has a wonderful recommendation and or, technique. Writing those ideas down. We were having a jam session on Friday night. If you weren't there, to clarify what we were talking about, we were actually drawing out some jewelry design ideas, and it's really, really helpful when you're having an inspirational overload to start jotting down some notes or take some pictures or make some drawings. That's such a good suggestion, because when it's gone sometimes. 12, 14, 16, that's fine. Okay, 14, 16. And during the creative floods, my house demands attention. Right? Sometimes you also have to kind of know that there will be time for stuff like that later. Later. Unless you've got company coming, sometimes you gotta follow your mind and your heart and your eyes and your torch and your lapidary, your tools. When those guys are calling out to you, it's not such a good idea to leave them hanging, I don't think. I am not using water, James. On this particular lap, it likes being used with diamond paste style stuff, oil. You can use a little bit of water if you want to, but it's not needed. And this is a tin alloy lap called a bat lap, or tin style alloy, I should actually say, on account that I don't know that it's got any tin in it. This, I don't think that they do anymore, but that's how they came about back in the day. 14, 16. Many sketchbooks and notebooks. Yes. And Bob also has notebooks full and keep on adding. Yeah, that's one thing that, again, my mom is amazing at drawing her designs, and she's got like notebooks upon notebooks upon notebooks as well. Let's shift it over in a weird way. Put the cheater back on that one. Lady Diane, I need notebooks. Yeah, that's it. You never know. Maybe you are like, there are some people who can go from zero to design and just kind of like with math, work it out in your head. And then there's other people that I know, like, that's skipping a step. Like, they definitely want to have this step where they hash out an idea on paper, get it all worked out, get the plans made, maybe even use the the drawing as, you know, template material for cutting out their metals and stuff like that. And so maybe you're skipping a step, Diane. Maybe it is the stage of realizing the vision on paper that is lacking. You never know. Yeah, Bob is saying I always buy a stack of notebooks at preseason school sales for sure. And Julie, you know, is coming from yet a different side of the brain here. I don't draw jewelry too much excited to jump into projects, and I would say that I'm probably in that camp as well. I don't usually draw them out, although I was drawing out on Friday so that we could all do it together. It is fun to brainstorm. And in that regard, you know, so that everybody could play along, it made a whole bunch of sense to you know, make images of what these potential things could be. And so we did, and that was a lot of fun. And we even played over on the Discord some more. And so, like, let me know if you enjoyed that session, because we can definitely be doing some more of that. It's definitely handy when 12 ideas hit you at once to sketch them out, for sure. And what's cool is that, you know, I'll actually sometimes sketch stuff out when I'm doing custom work for somebody, so I can show them the custom design. Oftentimes it'll end up a bit different than what our idea initially was, you know, because there's happy accidents that happen or whatever. You know, you can't be too married to your great plans. It's nice to be flexible also. But then you can go back, and the ones that didn't get realized, you can go ahead and use that for extra idea making too. And so it's exponential in some ways. 81, 82, 83, 84. Yes, the creative processes that evolve, that are intuitive, says Femme Mécanique, Julie. Absolutely. Boy, if they weren't a living creature, I think I would be a little less interested. But the fact that, you know, they get born, and then a lot of times, whether you like it or not, they do change. It's wonderful to see where they go. Yeah, and the forgetting process is also dangerous. I heard that. Like, oftentimes I will be on hyper creativity mode when I'm trying to go to sleep after spending, you know, the day or many days in the studio, and I'll be getting these awesome ideas as I'm going to sleep, and then in the morning, you know I had like 3 or 4 new pairs of earrings made in my head, and yet I can't remember what the designs are. And so, not only having that book that you can write your designs in, but having one next to your bed probably isn't a bad idea either. And Miss Soul Adventurous, it's good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, I love the creative discussion, you guys. It's always interesting to hear about other creators' creative process. Oh, I liked that live. It was fun watching someone else's process of creation. Oh, like mine's my friend. Gives many others inspiration. Yeah, exactly my point. The creative process in and of itself is so interesting to see how other people's minds work. It's a treat to go in there and find out what makes things work for other people, for sure. So we are going to cut around the outside of, now we're going to do those little triangles that I pointed out. And it's at 52.
I hope that you guys are staying toasty. In fact, I'm gonna have to walk over and turn the heater off in my studio. It's so toasty in here, and the winds aren't pounding my window yet. So gosh, I feel like we're in the calm before the storm, because they were definitely calling for gloom and doom and whatnot. And it looks like Dub is in the house. Yeah, we are faceting away this lovely evening. We're working on a trillion cut. We're on Andrew Brown's Triopic Blast, and we're working on the little cuts around. There's the big triangle in the middle, and then 3 big triangles, and then we've got these little triangle cuts, and that's what we're on. Just changing into that on our bat lap. Gotta love it. And happy that the big winds haven't come yet and blown us off the interwebs yet. So if I drop off fast, you guys will know that is all that happened. And I'll make sure to check in somewhere else unless all the devices are gone. Right, Cindy? Yeah, you're like, it's not my driving. I promise. I am a good driver. Well, I'm glad that you got home safe, because that can be super sketchy feeling too. So be careful with your winds. And I'm glad that you're home safe. And at least that you have a Jeep also. All these things make me feel better for you. I'd be worried. I'd be worried for your safety. Oh, Soul, yeah. You know what? That happened to me with somebody else's live stream in the past little while. YouTube be a little jinky these days, excuse me, lately, guys. And so, yeah, hang in there. And if it seems like stuff is weird, like the chat doesn't correlate with the thing that's going on, then you might have to check yourself a bit. Because all of a sudden, everybody was talking about these weird non sequiturs, and I realized that I was having a deja vu moment where it looked like something I'd already seen before. And I had gotten bumped. Oh yeah, definitely Bob's Rocks. Stopping in your camper van, like any of those high-profile vehicles. No bueno. I remember getting blown around on the road when we used to drive we had a short bus. We still do, but we don't drive it much anymore. And when that thing was getting blown around on the road, you knew it was time to pull over, because that thing was so heavy, but it was a high-profile vehicle. And if it's blowing, full-size trucks around, then yeah, even our little short bus isn't that big of a vehicle anymore, if we think about it. Oh, and Amber is saying that you couldn't chat on this when it started and had to close it out and start it again. That's interesting. Yeah, and as you guys know, my chat just cold stopped, and I had to redo it. It's still frozen on my phone. Oh, Amber, it is so scary on a motorcycle. Do you ride, darling? That's something I don't miss. I do miss riding a motorcycle. I don't miss getting blown around. I had the poor timing in Tucson to have to ride home from work a fair amount in monsoon seasons. And that was maybe not the smartest thing. Yeah, YouTube chats have been acting up for days. Agreed. Yeah, when I moved to Oregon from Arizona, I sold all my motorcycles and swore it off for a little while. Figured I'd probably tempted fate enough. Yeah, used to. Also, LOL. What kind of bike did you have, Amber? And Cindy says, people that aren't from here laugh at our wind gust signs on the highway. Then, when we had a windy day, I looked at them and asked, not funny now? Yeah. Yeah. Like, if you don't know wind, then you don't know. But if you know, you know. You know? Yeah, I used to have like street bikes. I started off on a little Buell Blast, and then I had a CDR, and I had a Yamaha, like a Fizzer. But yeah, it's even more dangerous here, and it was dangerous enough in Tucson. Like I said, I feel like I probably used up all of the graciousness of any 9 lives or more that I might have been allowed. So, time to step away from the motorcycles. All right. I have a little bit of a miscut that I am trying to patch up, and we're almost there, and that's why we've been loitering. And so I'm going to go around the little triangles and make sure everything is back together as it should be. And yeah, like accidents happen, just keep on cutting. Various spikes, yeah. Harleys, sweet, a 1200. Yeah, so that's big bike. That's big lots of bike. That's a lot of power, but it's good. It's good to have that much power if you need it. For sure. Do you miss it? Do you miss your rides? I now have a street dirt bike for running around the desert and camping. Bob, that's awesome. I want to get one of those, gosh, I always forget what it is, but those 250s that are literally classified as farm equipment. And so, like, the insurance is, like, nothing on them. And they're super awesome. I believe Yamaha makes the one that I want. And I keep on forgetting what the model is, but they you know, you see them constantly on the back, like on the little back fenders of RVs and stuff like that, and so you can bring it on along with you. And I would just absolutely adore having like a nice little on-off road flickable road, you know, rock hounding mobile. That's a wonderful thing. And Soul has never been on a motorcycle. 2 chicken wrecked a 3-wheeler. That's no joke. That needed up my back. Ooh. Oh no. Figured I'm best on 4 wheels. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the accident. That's what I mean by using up your 9 lives and dodging bullets and stuff like that for sure. Is yeah, let's face it, that stuff is dangerous, and how long you gonna cheat fate until stuff kind of catches up with you? Hopefully you do. But I felt like I had a good run, and it was probably best to hang it up until before something bad happened. Yeah. The TW 200. For some reason, I thought that was a 250, but aren't those the coolest? I saw somebody back, like, we were in Nowheresville, back in the Helena area of Oregon, Central Oregon, and we hear this, like, and it's this guy. I mean, literally, we were nowhere. And there's this guy, like, riding one of those TW200s, and he was obviously having the best time ever. I believe he was a rancher that was just keeping an eye on his herd. But it was obvious that the bike was fun, and it was taking down that territory like it ain't no thing, gobbling up the sagebrush and hills. So much fun. And Cindy says, I'm going to get a caution sign for the back of Karen's vehicle. Caution, this vehicle stops suddenly for rocks, right? Maybe it's the XT250. Who knows? Like I said, I keep on forgetting the little letters and whatnot. Don't stick to my my brain because I'm not seriously shopping. Believe me, if I was seriously obsessing, then I would know, because one would be in my shopping cart. I like that though, Cindy. I'm gonna need to get that sticker, or the whole sign for that matter. That would have gone very nicely on the bus. In the I threatened to use that little stop sign. Found out that it was illegal, but I wanted to use that stop sign for just such a purpose. That little thing that you can like swing out when you put the lights on, and you swing out your little stop sign. It should, say stopping for rocks. Because we did a lot of that in that bus. Stopping suddenly, like, stop, stop, stop. Because here was the really bad part about having that particular vehicle for Steve. He'd be driving, and I would literally be sitting on the steps, looking out the long, clear door window, so I could see the rocks on the road really close. When we would get, in range, like when we were off-road and, driving down into the sticks in Congleton or the Sunstones or wherever, and I'd be like, oh, stop, stop, stop. We're in a hot area, stop. And of course, the door would be right there, so I was off before you could say boo. That was a great rock hounding vehicle. If the vehicle wasn't so, it's a gas guzzler, it's a diesel, but also it's a Ford, and it has the 350 engine in it. It wasn't fun to drive. It was like the steering and the brakes and everything. It was logy, and it felt just like on the minor side of sketchy. And so, yeah, we just decided to move along, get our nimble little taco. And Soul Adventurous needs the shirt that says, I'm okay, just looking at rocks, right? And Kid Curry is asking how the weather is on the coast, and the weather is stormy, my friend. We are looking at getting some serious storms here in the next 24 hours, and a lot of blowing heavy-duty winds, lots of high surf, and potential for flooding. And so we're looking at having maybe our rock hounding opener soon. So is that the right positive silver lining to be looking at what it could potentially be very negative? Hopefully we keep all of our roofs and windows and fences and things like that in the neighborhood. But otherwise, yeah. Hopefully we'll be looking at doing some rock hounding soon on the beach. Woo! All right. Counting, thinking. And where did I see a 125? Oh, that's how I started riding 125, watching cattle. Yeah, right, Amber? Yeah, what a good time. I mean, you know, I think that some people love it. It's like driving a tractor. Either some people hate it and can't wait to not have to drive tractor. Like my mom grew up on a ranch, and so did my dad for that matter. And, you know, some people take to it, and other people, it's like the worst thing ever. My mom used to love driving all day on a tractor. And honestly, if I had grown up on the ranch, I would have loved it too. Although I didn't. I only got to spend summers there. Got born a city kid instead. Oh, James loves rocks. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. And yeah, I'm fixing this stone right now. It had like a little bit of a miscut, but we're catching up with that. And I do believe that in the end, it's going to be just a piece of sunshine. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love some lemon yellow? But yeah, thank you. I do have the bell. Woohoo! Thank you. And then, let's see, I saw something else here. Honda Trail 990 for changing irrigation pipes. So Kid Curry is there as well. And Scott Argyle has been riding since 1976. Very cool. And I'm with you, Amber. I loved riding the horses. That was my jam. Every summer I had one. That was mine. And she took care of me every summer. My best friend. Yeah, this is going to be a sunshiny rock. It's going to be somewhere in between that Lemon Jolly Rancher and Pineapple Lifesaver, guys. And yes, it's all about the food. We got cherry chocolate. We got we got Lifesavers. We got Jolly Ranchers. Oh, you're supposed to be really close. Yeah, Lincoln City might be a little bit of a mess in the Coast Range. I don't know. Do you have to go through the Van Duzer corridor, or are you going to take the 20, kid? I think both of them will be a mess, but the 20 is going to be nasty, I believe. I could be wrong. But, yeah, they're calling for, you know, power outages, flooding, and down trees. So, do be careful, my friend. Needless to say, I will not be going out. And I'm jelly because Steve got to go wingboarding on the beach yesterday. I wasn't feeling so hot, and so I missed the session. But it was perfect. It was absolutely gorgeous. Tons and tons of beach, and mountain board and a wing, and lots of wind. And at low tide, it was just fantastic. Oh, you're in Hood River, and you have to go to Lincoln City? Yeah, that sounds like that would be quite the hike. And yeah, that means you'd probably be going over the Van Duzer corridor. And so, yeah, be careful, my friend. Be very, very careful. Yeah, wingboarding on the beach. That Opal guy, it's a thing. We use mountain boards. That's how I got started with the whole wing nonsense in the first place. My profile picture on Facebook actually has, I think that picture it's so old. I think it's from the first day that I went boarding on the beach like 4 years ago. And everybody's saying, hi. Not so much friction. What happens is, boy, yeah, if it was normal sand, you'd be 110% right, and it would be not worth doing. But if you think about, give you something pretty to look at here for a second. If you think about the sand, and you think about the waves coming in on the sand and pressing all that sand down, and it's compressed like cement. And then you have like a long wave that goes all the way up the beach, like on high tide during the king tides, and then it goes all the way down to minus tides on the low tide. You have a huge skate park that's basically cement that you can skate without even putting your foot down for like miles because the wind is taking you along. It's like sailing on the beach. I can't tell you how exhilarating it is. I love it so much. That was one of my first videos that I made too. There's 2 videos in the Wayback Machine back when I first started the channel, and there's the 2 videos that are about wingboarding. And it's come a long way since then. Those were done like during COVID a long time ago, and stuff has gotten even better since then because that was at the birth of the winging in the first place. Yeah, see what you started? You started her talking about wind again. Okay, here we go. Back to the opal. I can't help it. It's not an obsession. Exactly. Maybe just a little. Amber is incredible fun. If you ever hit the beach, then I highly recommend it. You need a lot of beach. Someplace that's windy, that you don't find yourself in swirling winds. And yeah, put your wing out, and your body is the mast, and your mountain board is like your little sailboat, and you just sail around on the beach for hours. Steve, gosh, was that just yesterday? I think it was just yesterday. Steve actually sailed 3 miles down the beach. He went 3 miles down the beach and then came back. And so he had a round trip of 6 miles, but he probably ended up going at least half, or if not that amount again, because you are going up and down the wind, tacking back and forth for your reaches, and so it's not like you're going in a straight line, you're going zigzagging. So he put quite a bit of mileage on the wingboard yesterday, or the day before that, whenever that was. Good night, Bob. I hope that you have creative dreams and fun on your tractor, and a very enjoyable week. We'll see you on Friday, if not earlier. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that you can do something like that and cover that much ground. If you're familiar with the Alvord Desert in Oregon and eastern Oregon, we're really interested in doing the playa there. We visited there quite a few times, and we bicycled on it, but I really, really want to sail on it. It's a great place for wind sports. So that's something that'll happen in our future for sure. So Scott is saying, I've been at Nye Beach watching people base jump flying in the air, kiting on the beach, and in the water at the same time. So, yeah, there's the kiters. Steve was one of them. And then there's those people that are doing the, oh gosh, what do they call them? It's not skydiving, but it's an equivalent therein. Nye Beach is a great place. They do it off the Yuquana Head quite a bit too. Super cool to watch. Oh no, nobody's getting a lawsuit. And yeah, I think that in most cases you're right that a lot of that the kiting and the winging happen in the water, but there is definitely it can be done on the beach, and kind of the cool part about that is that you can get practice in during the wintertime when you can't go into the water if the water's too gnarly. Until you realize the wind only blows in one direction. Yeah, you gotta work with that dynamic. How am I gonna get back? How am I getting back to where I'm going? Stick to the bathtub. It's all good. I wouldn't go in the water right now either. It's a kind of gnarly. Well, we would have been done with the bat lap had I not done a little miscut. We've got like this little itty bitty square that I gotta fix, which I will. But what I should do, since we're almost on, let's see, we started a while back. I think we'll call it. And what I think the suggestion was that we, like, if you were still in the mood for watching things, that perhaps a pickup session in the Discord might be fun. So that's what's going on there. And we just have one little miscut that I need to clean up, and then we'll go on to the next. There it is in the corner right there. We'll go on to, after this goes, this is 3,000. We go to a 1,400 that usually isn't a necessary step. And then after the 1,400, we go to a cerium. The 1,400 I will do dry without any water. And then the cerium oxide, I go ahead and add the water back into the mix. And this guy will be done. And then we'll plop it into the acetone, and it'll come free sometime tonight or tomorrow. I will post the progress in the Discord, and I will probably be putting up a short on YouTube and on Instagram here in the next 24 hours on this stone coming about. And then otherwise, in more news, I'll go ahead and turn us around for that. Let's see. Do this. Woo! So, we've been working on the opal video, and so that is like almost finished. I just have to finish some of these stones so that I can add them into the opal video. This will be a trip to mining the opals along with you guys. Like, you get to come along. The video includes us on our way when we're mining, chit-chatting a bit with Troy, and you get to see him pull some of the stuff out of the wall there at the Opal Quinn mine, as well as Steve and I. And then we'll go through some of the processing of the material, and of course some of the end results like the facets and the cabochons. We'll at that time have some of the comparison of the different cuts with the different quality of stones and the different colors. And so that video is on its way to getting finished. I've been working on that for the last few nights, and we'll be working on it again tonight. And so I'm hoping to have that done very soon. I'm not going to make any promises, but it would be great to have it, premiere either on Friday before the Friday Night Live, or perhaps sometime this weekend. We'll see exactly how much work I can get done in between now and then.
Thank you so much for coming and hanging out for the live stream. I really appreciate you guys all being here. You're the best. And thank you for the moderators if you had to do any work tonight. I think it was pretty tame for one of the Vert Lives, and so that's always super great. If anybody is having a live stream or a video premiere coming out, please go ahead and either share it in the chat, or you can even share it in the comments or over there on the Discord where we all get together. I hope you guys all have a ton of extra inspiration. Thank you for sharing yours with me. And I would love to do another session where we all share our inspirations together and maybe draw up some jewelry designs or what have you. Tomorrow morning is the coffee with our girl Allison, Prairie Girl Rocks. And so be there. That would be at noon her time, which is 11 Pacific Standard Time, and then you can do the math from there. And then usually Josh does something in the evening. We'll see if he's doing a thing, and if not, I'll bet you somebody is gonna fill in the blanks. Who knows? Maybe we'll go live again. I got a lot of work to do. But again, thank you so much for hanging out. May the storms miss you, and may you have great travels, finding lots of rocks, or finding some wonderful creativity right inside your studio. Stein turns to you. And thanks again. I'll see you next time. You're the best. Love ya.